Hello and welcome to Herbalist and Herbs. My name is Chrissakis. Today's video short, herbs to strengthen the immune system. Now there are three basic imperatives that the immune system has. That is that it must recognize a problem, that it must neutralize that problem or destroy the problem, and it must remember that. Now all of that takes a variety of things in terms of communication molecules and factors that keep the immune system functioning and communicating together from part to part. And often, those are the things that begin to break down when people develop chronic diseases. Long-term stress begins to degrade the immune system through a number of means. Now, the use of tonic and adaptogenic herbs is quite old, and it's got a long history of keeping people strong. And one of the areas that it strengthens is the immune system. It helps coordination. It helps endurance. It also helps the balance and flow of the immune system in terms of all the mechanisms that I mentioned. Now I'm going to go over 3 or 4 of them. And the thing about herbs, once again, is there's a huge variance in quality that you'll find. So when I talk about something like reishi mushroom, I'm talking about a certain level of it. Because you can buy a reishi mushroom for $6 a pound, and you can buy it for $160 a pound. And obviously there's a huge difference in the response you're going to get from the $160 herb. Now, again, I often don't use raw herbs in my practice, that is turning them into teas. I will use tinctures and or powders and concentrates. Usually they're high ratioed extracts, that is the 4-to-1, 6-to-1, 10-to-1. And what that means is that if you took an ounce of the raw herb and you matched it against this 10-to-1 extract, there would be 10 times more of the active ingredient in it. So let's start with one of the tonics. And what I'd like to state first is that the tonics are a high class of herbs in any pharmacopeia, traditional pharmacopeia, whether it's Chinese or Tibetan or Unani Tib. However, the highest class of tonic herbs are adaptogens, and they're a specific group of plants worldwide, of which there are only about 30 or 35 recognized right now. Now, I'm going to start off with one of them, which is one of my favorites, which is reishi mushroom. And reishi mushroom, again, is something that has a large variance in quality, but when you get good quality, you get good effect. And reishi mushroom is known for a number of things. One is to raise white blood cell count. Now, this is crucial in terms of when you're working with a cancer patient, and you've got to maintain white blood cell count. It also is known as a total immune enhancer. And again, what that means is it strengthens all the communication aspects, all the attack aspects, and all the remembrance aspects. The thing that, once again, the immune system must remember what happened so that it can mount an attack much more quickly the second time around if something invades again. So anyway, back to reishi. There's a black and a red variety. I personally don't find any major difference in application. It's a slightly warming herb. It's a wonderful herb for the bronchial system, too, in terms of someone who gets repeated bronchitis. It's not used during the acute flare-up, but in between the bronchitis flare-ups. And again, it'll help heal the bronchus, the tissue in there, so that whatever problem that is occurring and recurring is either lessened in frequency and or completely eliminated. This definitely works. So it works to also strengthen the heart, the lungs, the kidney, and the liver. I use reishi mushroom quite a bit when I'm treating chronic diseases because it's such a strong foundational element in the core therapies of the things that I use. It's also slightly calming, which is unusual in the category of tonics and or adaptogens. They tend to be somewhat stimulating. But there's a class of them which I use, which are calming because Americans don't need things that excite them more. They generally need things that help them slow down and calm down while they remain focused and in tune with things. So reishi mushroom gives one that ability. The next herb I want to speak about is astragalus, and a lot of people know about astragalus, and that is not an adaptogenic herb. It doesn't fulfill the criteria of an adaptogenic herb, which is that it must raise non-specific resistance in the body, which is basically it must affect everything in a positive way. Now, astragalus does have somewhat of a contraindication, and that is if there's upper body tension in the person. That is if they have tight chest or tight lungs, tight jaw, they have a tendency towards headaches and or high blood pressure, astragalus is not the herb of choice. But again, if you're treating someone whose lungs are weak and or you want to raise their immunological function, especially in relationship to something like repetitive colds, astragalus is something to use in between, again, acute problems. Once again, it will raise white blood cell count, and again, that is an important factor when you're treating people who have those areas depressed, say through chemo. It's a wonderful herb, again, for the heart, strengthening the heart, the lungs, it's well known for, and also the liver. Again, there's a huge variance in astragalus. Generally, you want to get older roots. Again, in these areas, when you're dealing with plants, it's always good to have someone who's in your corner who knows something about the quality of the plants. It's a big deal in terms of getting results. The next plant I want to talk about is Siberian ginseng, which is not a true ginseng. It's really a large bushy plant, and the ginsengs are taproots. They're smaller plants, and it's an eleutherococcus as opposed to a panax. But it exhibits many of the qualities, positive qualities, that the ginsengs do. It is also more towards neutral in its thermogenic effect, so it doesn't push the body hard. And it tends to balance things well when you use it with other herbs. And again, it's a total immune enhancer. It strengthens the body in multiple ways. Excuse me. It gets attack mechanisms up quicker. It'll get the body to fight off things better. And once again, just to reiterate this fact, is during acute phases of whatever it may be, infections or flare-ups of whatever disorder, you do not use tonics in general. You use clearing herbs. However, if the client is very weak, you can combine both. Back to Siberian ginseng, I use lots of it. I used to use it as an extract. I also still do. It's hard to get good quality as a dried plant. But once again, you can find companies that make great extracts based on multiple high ratioed extract. The next plant I want to talk about is American ginseng. And American ginseng is a true ginseng in that it is a taproot plant. And once again, it's another plant that I use. It is adaptogenic, truly an adaptogenic herb. And it's a plant that I use once again because it is quite gentle relative to its cousins, say, Chinese ginsengs. The red ginsengs and the Asian ginsengs in general tend to be a little bit racy for Americans. But American ginseng tends to be, once again, calming and soothing. And again, it's great for lung function, for liver function, and for heart function. Now, all of the plants that I mentioned will raise how the immune system works. It will strengthen it in terms of giving it more endurance, more balance, more capability, more communication. One of the things with staying strong for a long period of time and into your older years is the use of tonic and adaptogenic type herbs along with low-level supplementation. This combination of both things will keep both the immune system and all the other systems in your body strong and functional. If you want to know more about these kinds of plants and a variety of subjects, you can go to my website, which is herbalistandherbs.com. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.